All right. Hi, everybody. Hello, hello. It's Connie, and it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon on Wednesday, and that means I'm live. I am just getting my comments rigged up here so that I can see your comments. And there I am. All right, yay. Okay, I'm readjusting my camera just a little bit too, so that it's a little more zoomed in, because we're gonna make some, I'm just having fun today, all right? I want to use Moon and Back, which is one of the newer releases. It just came out. Stampin' Up with their new releases. Let's just talk about that for a second. They came out yesterday. So exciting. And there's a couple of new kits that are kind of fun to look at. One of the kits that I have been kind of looking at, sorry, I'm taking a drink off my pop here. Anyway, one of the kits that I wanted to look at was their clipboards. It's a set of clipboards with an easel back so you can stand them up. And I was like, it's not exactly a kit. There is another kit that goes with them that you can display things, but I was thinking for your home decor, wouldn't that be kind of fun to have a stand-up clipboard to, you know, show off your latest creation, or a scrapbook page, or a photo, or I don't know. It's just kind of a neat idea. So that's the one thing I'm debating on today. I've been thinking about. And thanks for watching me. I've been kind of keeping track of my YouTube followers, and I've been increasing slowly in followers, and it really means a lot. It's kind of fun to see that happen. I film live on Facebook on my group, and so if you ever want to watch me live instead of as a replay on YouTube, then of course message me and I'll send you a link to my private Facebook group. It's exactly the same, except for sometimes I add extra announcements and posts like that. One thing you might notice, oh my gosh, with some of the new stuff is that a lot of it, not a lot of it, but some of the better things, the things that everybody's been waiting for, that I've been showing, are sold out. The dies have sold out already. Come on, Stampin' Up. It's day 2, and a lot of that is not available again until March 26th. I looked it up today. It's expected the week of March 26th. For most of the things that are out. So, yes. Hi, Christy. Hi, Margie. I love this set so much. It is a small set. You can see it's not huge, but it's super cute. And I've done some fun things with it. I've been playing with it. I couldn't resist. You know what? I have been wanting to make penny sliders, and I've been wanting to make shakers, and I've been wanting to make, you know, fun folds. And this is a great set for that. And especially if you have other things to add to it, like if you have stars, like little die stars or embellishment stars. Always when I go live, there's always somebody at the door. Hold on. Hey, Moose. Stop. Good boy. Enough. I'll shut the door, bud. Hold on, guys. Stop. Oh my gosh. He sounds like he's going to eat the UPS guy, doesn't he? It's crazy. Anyway, Moose, enough. I'm so sorry. He'll be gone in a second. So anyway, today I thought it would be fun to make some backgrounds. And I want to make some like outer space looking backgrounds. I know, Moose is like, you know, the guy even brings him treats and he comes up to him and wants to pet him, and Moose will not have it. There is something about the UPS guy is like a no way Jose. But anyway, whatever. I tend to trust my dog's instincts most of the time when he doesn't like somebody, but not the UPS guy. So, all right, so I got us some colors that I like to use when I'm making like starry skies. I got out a purpley color. A purple pink is really good. This is Petunia Pop. I believe this is the one that's one of the ones that's gonna be retiring next month. That makes me sad because this is actually a very used color for me, which is weird. I don't use a lot of purples, but this purpley pink is really nice. I like it. I also got out a little lemon lime twist because sometimes having a bright color is nice. You know, like you think about moon and stars and yellows and that, and I'm not a big yellow person, but this citrusy green, yes. Night of Navy, and my version of Night of Navy is Sapphire. It's almost a perfect match. I have it in a cube, but when I'm in an ink blend, it's nicer to have the bigger size. And then, of course, Secret Sea, which is almost, it's such a dark blue that it's almost black. So you could use black if you wanted that. Harley hated the garbage man, but only when he wore coveralls. Isn't that interesting? Sometimes I think, you know, whoever raised Moose as a puppy, I just think that, you know, there was it was a guy, and because he doesn't act that way with women. He just acts that way with men, which is interesting. All right, so I have a couple of backgrounds here. I just have panels. These are like 4 by 5 1/4, so they will be inset just a tiny bit.
Welcome.
Okay, I don't know what that was. That was very strange.
Goodbye.
My computer acts on its own sometimes. I have no rhyme or reason to why it does that. It like kicks on, it kicks off, it does weird things. All right, so I'm gonna do some blotchy blending on here. Do you see how this? It's just splotches, okay? And that's all I'm gonna do for that. Unless I need to go back in. So I'm gonna set that aside. On the other panel, I'm gonna do some lemon lime twist. Maybe I'll just I'll do one with purples and one with this color. And so I'm just going to blend a few areas. And this is one of those times when it doesn't really matter if you get brush strokes in these colors, because you are going to mostly cover it up anyway, right? This is just to get some other color mixed in with your sky. So anyway, so has anybody looked online at the new stuff? Or have you been curious enough to check things out? I think I've shown you pretty much everything I have purchased. I'm going to go with the Night of Navy or the navy blue now. And what I want to do here is I want to go from the outside to the inside, and I just want to blend like the whole card. Darker at the outside, lighter on the inside, but I don't want to go completely over my lemon lime twist, but you can. But it's kind of nice to have a little pop of that yellow. All right, hold on a second. I need to grab a piece of scratch paper or something. I have like all these little pieces sitting around, and I'm just going to use that so I don't get ink all over my fingers. All right. Now, if you have this is a glass mat, which is, yeah, of course, amazing for ink blending because you can get ink all over it and it just wipes off. If you don't have a glass mat, if you have a tacky mat, that works really good. Or I put one of those sticky mats on the inside of my Misty, and sometimes I'll pull it out and use it, and it holds your card in place. You could always tape it down, but I just don't. It doesn't take very long to make a sky. And the thing about the sky on here is that it's better in a lot of ways if it is a little blotchy, dark in places, light in places, because when you look up at the sky, it's not all one color, right? Okay, so there's that one. I'm going to set that one aside for a second while I do this one. The main thing you don't want to do is you don't want to, if you're using a piece of scratch paper, you don't want to rush over that because you will get a harsh line, like a mask, over your scrap paper. It'll be like an actual hard line in your sky. You don't want to do that, if that makes sense. But anyway, so I've had an eventful day already while I'm blending. I'll tell you about it. Last night, we had that storm, and it was, the weather people around here. Oh, we're just going to get a little rain. We might have some thunder. We might actually have a thunderstorm. But unless you're having tornadoes, they don't think you're having weather. And we had so much rain. We looked like we lived on waterfront property last night. And then the wind with the storm was so strong, and we had a couple of very large branches from our tree come down onto our house, and one of them caused damage to our shingles. And last night my daughter woke me up and she's like, I'm getting rained on, because she works in the room behind our garage, and she works the night shift, and she the roof started leaking, and it was from this branch that hit our roof. So we've already had some roof damage. It's not even really spring yet. Yay. We spent tons of money last year on tree work, so that I might need this back, so I'm going to keep it close. But so frustrating. So we have to have the roof guy out, and he can't make it until like next Thursday. So, and of course we're supposed to get rain every single day. So I don't know how much damage that'll do. But anyway, okay, Secret C. So Steve was up on the roof early this morning, checking out, trying to get all the branches off of the roof in the rain. That was fun. Okay, Secret C, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go around, primarily around the edges, and you could use black for this, because, when you look up at the sky, it's not exactly black. It's kind of unusual for it, actually, to be so dark that it looks black. And so I like to have it look really dark on the outside and then start kind of feathering it in really soft in the inside. And that way, you end up with almost like a highlight in the middle. And this is perfect for card making, because then you have a spot for your sentiment or your images or whatever, and they it's like a picture frame, right? Just think of it like that. So anyway, yeah, so weather, yay. People are like, I would rather have rain than snow any day, and I'm like, no. Wind and weather and water is so damaging. We have had so many problems from these storms these last few years. I can't believe how much money we've spent. We had to add a line item to our budget just for storm repairs and stuff. It's crazy. I'm in Illinois. Welcome to Illinois. All right, this is really wet. It's really cool looking. I'm going to set it aside for a moment while I do this one. You see the difference though, right? It doesn't have to be perfect. You can see like this has not taken me very long to ink blend, and it's kind of a fun process to ink blend. And if you feel like you're not getting a dark enough color, just get out your black. But it'll for me, and for what I use it for, I'll show you what I use it for. I think you'll like how this looks. So Margie likes Cute as a Bug. You know what? That Cute as a Bug has been a huge hit. The one thing I like to kind of watch to YouTube a little bit to see what other people are showing, because I like to zig when everybody else zags. I don't like to show the same thing that all the other people are showing. And oh my gosh, I think I'm sick of the bug thing already just from watching other people work with it. But it is cute. And what I appreciate about it is that it's different. You know, it's not flowers. I get tired of flowers. Although I did buy some floral paper that I'm pretty much in love with. I'll probably show it next week. All right. So you see what I have here? I am going to just real lightly go through the center just to dull down that bright blue a little. And you can see the difference between the two backgrounds, where one of them has more like yellowy mustard colors. One of them has more purples. The purple, I kind of like the purpley color in the background. It's harder to see on camera. The other thing that you can do is you can go back in, like you could take your purple again and you can go back in and you can add it in a few places. The main thing is that you don't want to pick up that blue ink and contaminate your ink pads. So make sure that if you're adding color, you know, you might have to have a paper towel or a rag or something like this to like wipe your brush off in between. But you see, adding that extra color, sometimes that makes it even richer looking. It's kind of cool. All right, quit playing. All right, I want to show you a few things that you can do to your background to make it kind of fun, to, you know, to make it look more like a night sky. And I just have water here. I could put my paper down and splish this up, and this, like just taking a piece of paper and laying it down, you know, you can get a night sky look. So if you have more panels, this would be really cool to make the moon also. Ooh, I might do that. All right, hold on a minute. While I'm playing, let's just do this right. I have one that I think is big enough for the moon. My moon is about that big. Okay. I'm just going to lay this down and pick it up and make it, I want it to look a little blotchy. There. I like that. I'm going to let that dry. It's in the corner. Okay. That would be a good way to make a moon on a scrapbook page too. I've been thinking about my scrapbook pages and how to make this look, how to make this kind of use this set on a scrapbook page. The problem is, oh, the stamps are so small. I mean, this little man is like an inch tall. He's very small. And so I'm afraid that would get a little lost on a scrapbook page, but I think I can do it. So I'll be playing around with that. Okay, I'm going to set this one aside. And this one, I am going to play just a little. Okay, I have water. I'm going to put a little puddle of water. And let me just get a paintbrush or something. I have a paintbrush that I'm going to get pretty wet. And I'm going to speckle this with water. And because this is a water reactive ink, what happens is you get white spots in your ink. So let me just clean that up so I don't lay it in a big puddle of water. And I just want to bring that up close enough where you can really see what I just did. Do you see how it almost looks like stars in the sky? Isn't that cool? So that's a neat way to add like a distant star kind of thing. The other thing you can do, of course, is you might have like the gloss sprays where you could spatter with gold or the distress spray in brushed pewter adds a really cool silver looking star. I have, this is Shimmer, liquid shimmer, and this looks really cool. I'll show you what it looks like. This one is from Tailored Expressions, and you just put a few drops out. You can add it, add an ink color. Like if you wanted it to be gold or yellow or something, you could add a little bit of color to that. And I'm just gonna, you can see I'm spattering it onto my project and my computer, apparently. Let's see. If I can keep this a little more contained, that's probably a good idea. Let me clean that off. And let me show you what that looks like. All right. See if can you see the shimmer? Oh yeah, you can see that shimmer. That's really cool. So in the background, you have the water reaction that kind of looks like distant stars. And then you have the shimmer that kind of gives it a galaxy effect. I think that alone is a cool background. On the other one, I want to show you, let's see, where is my, I gotta find what I'm looking for. Sorry. Okay, so gears and textures. I have been showing this like crazy. I think this one is also not available again until like March 23rd or something. But I think it's primarily the dies. But you really need, if this particular set, you really need both. You need both the dies and the stamps, because both the dies and the stamps are what makes this one really cool. Now, a couple of things I just want to show you. So this stamp right here with all the speckles, you could put this on in different places, and then you could use it with just white ink, and it will be very faded, very soft. It's another way to add that distant sky look. And this circular one right here, that's like a ring, almost looks like a, I don't know, what would you call that? A vortex, a cosmic thing? I don't know. But I'm going to show you what I did with it. I was just playing around. And I really like using the craft ink. Find it, hold on. So the Stampin' Up White is a pigment ink. Pigment inks do not dry fast. They're very slow drying, so you can use pigment inks like this to emboss. So I could put a powder over this, right? But when I stamp it on here, what it does is it's white, but it's not like white, okay? So the thing that's kind of cool about this is that it will dry very faded, and it will look distant, like a distant sky, instead of like if you emboss that with white powder right now, you know, it would be white in your face, white. Okay. But I do like that look. I think that looks really cool, and it's an option for making a sky. I think this, I'll show you what this one looks like too, just so you can see. And I think what I'm going to do with this one is I'm actually going to take Secret Sea, and I'm going to stamp it like tone on tone. Oh, hey Moose. Now there's somebody walking their dog. I mean, God forbid, you know, another dog comes within 20 feet of Moose, right? Okay. Anyway, so you get the gist of what I'm talking about with adding different layers to your panels. I think that looks really, really cool. All right. So there's my two panels that I've been playing with. Let me get this out of the way. I'm done with this for a while. I'm afraid if I don't put this away, I will like lose something because the clutter, you know, the clutter. All right. Now, if you're not into making panels like this, maybe I'll go ahead and spritz this one with the silver just so you can see it. If you're not into making panels like this, you might remember this paper. This is that adventure paper, Weekend Adventure, and it has this paper in it, and I have been hoarding it just for this purpose, for a night sky kind of look, and I think it looks really cool. And today I'm going to make another card using paper that you would not expect. Okay, this, I don't know if I've even ever, it's been a long time since I used this. Hold on a minute. Make sure I can open it. I rarely actually just spray. I have a tendency to tap and get blobs and sprinkles, and what's cool about that, other than the big blob on there, is that it will dry so shimmery and cool looking. It's really a neat effect. All right, hold on a minute. I have a paper towel, and I'm gonna just blot that because I don't want it to take hours to dry. Okay. So the Distress mica type distress spray stains and stuff, they will show up on dark surfaces. So there's options. And then we can do things with these panels, okay? So I'm going to show you a couple of cards I've made, and then we'll make a couple more. I'm going to set these aside to dry for a minute. So here's the first thing I thought of. I was like, let's make a shaker. So I used this panel, and what I did was this, I put it on black, okay? The panel itself, you can tell exactly, you know, what it is. And I just cut a rectangle out of the center. And the rectangle I cut out, I put against the black piece, and then I raised this framed piece on foam, and I put the, you know, acetate, and I filled it with the little stamp man, which isn't he cute? Oh my gosh. I filled it so that he would move around, and I filled it with these little gold stars. These are the gold shaker stars, and they're on last chance, and they're cheap right now, so that's cool. And look how fun those are. And you can see here, this is that same circular stamp that I stamped in white. I did the water splush thing, only instead of a brush, I put some in my hand and went splat, splat, like that. And so it made bigger splotches. The other thing that I did to this one, a little different, is I white embossed the little stars from the set. So the Moon and Back set has this star and these stars, this planet, this little half moon looking thing, like a distant planet, has hearts. And so you can white emboss on there and give it instantly pops, right? Because that background is just too cool. And you can tell that I used the cut background, because see how the circle continues into the back? Cool. Now the moon, I did a little differently, and I'll show you how I made the moon on that. Okay. Let's see. Get a piece of scratch paper. I have like cardstock everywhere. All right. This is just a piece of scratch paper. I'm going to take my moon. Now, when you're pulling this moon off, be really careful not to tear it. You can see they cut the center out, which is really nice, because otherwise you might get like a, you know, an ink splotch in there that you didn't want. And so, but you have to be, it makes it a little more fragile of a stamp, right? So you're just gonna, sorry, that was very loud. I'm going to lay it down and pick it up like that. Now, what I like to do is I like to stamp it in the color that I want. So if I want a green, a gray, a yellow moon, whatever color of moon that I primarily want, that's what I want to stamp it in. So let me grab my gray. And I'm going to ink that up. And stamp it. And then here's the problem, right? Is that you don't want a white moon all the time. Like, even if there was shine on there, I don't love how that looks. And so what I did was I took my blending brushes and like I took my yellow brush. I didn't even add ink to it. And I added a little yellow, like, you know how sometimes one side of the moon has like a yellow shine to it? I did that. And then you grab your gray. A lighter gray would be great, but a little bit of gray on your brush, and you don't need a lot, and tap most of it off. And then just really lightly make your moon a color. Whatever color. You know, if you would do this in blue if you liked it in blue. Now, the other thing that, of course, works great on this is to pat it on there. Because the moon is not smooth. It's blotchy and rocky, and so that makes the moon look more real. The other thing you could use is you could get that back out and stamp that a few times on there. And I did that to a couple of my other moons today. The moon is made so that the Love You to the Moon and Back fits right on it, right there. And the You Are Out of This World fits right on it, right there. And I did stamp directly onto my moon a couple of times, but I wasn't crazy about how it looked. What I did like is when I took my shimmer brushes and then added shimmer to my moon. I really think it looks really neat when you add some shimmer, some glisten, and then cut it out. Now, let's see if that other paper is dry yet. This one, remember I picked up that ink, and that ink is very, it was really wet. That's what I want to say. Really wet. Sorry, words are hard. And so before you stamp on it, you definitely want to make sure your paper is fairly dry. But I'm just going to grab Secret C, and you can kind of see wherever I move that, I'm going to get a different look, a different shading. You know, to my moon, it's going to look a little different. Let's just put it there. And that's pretty cool. My paper is still just a smidgen wet. That's why it didn't stamp totally, but that's okay. You get the drift, right? The other thing is I'm not good at cutting out circles. I'm probably better than a lot of people are at it because I do it so much. But this is a time when it would be really nice to have a circle cutter. This circle is a 2 1/4 inch circle. So if you have a 2 1/4 inch circle die and cut that out, you would have a perfect moon, right? So I know not everybody likes to fussy cut, but this set does not have dies. Biggest bummer. But if you ever need help learning to fussy cut really good, this is a great set to start with. Because you'll be fussy cutting stuff out like crazy. Not bad. And I have enough for 2 more moons, so I'm gonna hang on to that. I really like how that looks. Isn't that cool? Look how splotchy that looks. Okay. All right, so there's my first card. And then when I cut out a circle out of one of my backgrounds, and it was where I got a lot of water on the background, and look at that. I thought that looked kind of cool too. And if you fussy cut your message, you could put that on there, and that looks kind of cool too, right? Okay, so there's one. Here's my other one. I told you I've been making penny sliders like crazy. I don't know, I'm trying to think what other videos I have of making one of these. And I think during COVID, I made one where the toilet paper went around in a circle. Do you remember that? Where it spun. And what I find is you can buy little slider pieces. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Find my sliders. So these just happen to be tailored expressions, but you can buy any spinners and sliders, and they're 2-piece kind of things where there's a slit between them. I find these hard to use compared to just using a penny. And I had to search for a penny because They were in my piggy bank. I had to get them out because, you know, it's pennies. And it certainly costs more than a penny to buy the sliders. So using a penny for me is great. What's nice about a penny is that it's heavy enough, it's weighted enough that your little guy will spin smoothly. And basically, I did the same thing. So I have the panel. I cut out a larger circle. And then the smaller circle, it needs to leave a track that your penny won't fall out of. So this is like a, how big is this one? This one is like a 3-inch circle. And then I have this like 2.5-inch circle. And I just taped those to my panel and cut that out just like that. Now what you do then is you have your panel and you want to keep the ring that comes out, and you want to attach that little ring to the background on your black paper or your back cardstock. And then you're going to foam tape the panel. You can see where I put the foam up. The problem is you don't want to put foam anywhere where it'll hitch up your penny around the track. And then your circle in the center needs to have a lip so that your penny will go under this and under this and will glide smoothly. Isn't it cute? Thank you, Heather. I love this little man, and this is my favorite card. If you want to see me actually make this, I don't... Basically, you're just making a track for your little man to slide around. You could use the little rocket and have it slide around too, but the little man sliding around is so cute. I didn't even put this on a card. I just put it on a panel. I don't think I put this one on a card either. I just put it on a panel just to show you some ideas. Because those are fast uses of the panels. Like once you've made the panels, the hardest part really is over, right? Okay, so let's get our panels back out. We have this panel and this panel. And you could use those for whatever you want. We also have the night sky paper from Weekend Adventures, which is really fun. So you can make, there's a couple more cards that I can make. So today I thought I'm going to show you one that I'm going to make with different paper. I got into my stash. Oh, Lost in Space. Yes, I remember that. Boy, that was a while. Yay. Yeah. All right. So I like this style of card, the ones that have the thing in the middle, like the accordion fold. This is like a famous, like, I learned this one with Club Scrap, and I make it all the time. I love this card. And it's super duper easy. But do you see the paper I used? All right, so this was that Christmas paper. I don't know if you remember it. It came in, let's see. Hold on if I have any more. All right. For some reason, I have like one sheet of each kind left. I have the red. I have the peacock, pretty peacock. I have a little bit of this left. So I have just a little bit of here and there left. Not really enough to do something all by itself, but... And it's gorgeous. You don't think of it as a night sky or a sky at all. But look, the back of it is just a brushed look, and it's the right color. And I just took the little stars and I white embossed all over them. I took my gilt gloss spray and I spattered just a little bit. Can you see that? It's just barely visible. But in real life, you see that it adds to the night sky look. And I thought that was pretty cool like that. And then I need a moon for it. I don't know whether this moon, I like the idea of a brighter color moon for this paper because I want to use gold on it. And so here's one I stamped in Darling Duckling. Sorry, I had to think what color I used. And I splotched it with my blending brush. That's how it got that splotchy look. Okay. And then there is my cool moon, right? I love this so much. I'm going to go ahead and attach this to here. Now, one of the things I considered doing just to make this card even more extra is to do another slider on the front, but it makes it really fat. Like this would be a card you would really have to hand to somebody. Now this one is dull. This moon is a little dull. It's gonna need some shimmer, y'all. It's just a little bland. Hold on a minute. Let me get my glue out. I'm gonna put this here. Now, I did a whole bunch of little spacemen in different color, or, you know, I just stamped a whole bunch. I'm trying to keep track of all my stuff because my whole counter is just full. And I have a couple of little rocket ships. I have a little planet that, yes, I'm ridiculous. I colored that and I fussy cut it. This was the stupidest thing to fussy cut, but it was the only way to get it with a white background. And I like the You're Out of This World where it stands up. I did not want this to be stamped directly onto my moon. I wanted it to stand out. And so here I am playing around. One of the things that I really like to do, if I'm gonna have a ton of images and I'm gonna be fussy cutting like crazy, is I like to do them like in a row on a piece of scratch paper, you know, so that I'm coloring them all in at the same time. I am not doing a little here, a little there, a little here, a little there. That drives me crazy to get out my colors over and over again. All right, hold on a minute. I'm moving some stuff and getting it out of my way so that I don't like make a mess. It's a little messy on my desk right now. Okay, so if I'm gonna color him, I want him to stand out against this, which means he mostly, I think, needs to be white. That's really, it's hard to make something look white, but still dimensional. And that's when I get out my ice gray and I use like the lightest shade. And I try to put the shading right, like where things meet. So where his arms meet his body, where his legs meet his body, and maybe right under his helmet and the bottom of his feet. I like that. And then to make the curve of his helmet, maybe just a really light bit up there. And by doing that, there it is in white. And there it is with a little bit of shading. Sorry, the shadows are weird in there. But you can kind of see what I did. And you could use a gel pen. You could use a gel pen on that. Or a metallic pen might be fun. That's an interesting idea. The other thing I thought about doing on him is a little glossy accent on his helmet because that would make it look really shiny. Cool. But I'm going to stop there for just a second. And I'm going to color my rocket ship. I'm just going to make it coral. And I think what I'm going to do is use my darkest color. And then put my lightest color on there. I like the idea of using my white Jelly Roll pen to add to these. Now this one already has shading. I don't need to add more shading to the little spaceman. And yeah, it's pain, but I'm gonna cut this sucker out. And I'm not particularly careful when I cut out. I cut kind of fast. And if I cut something off, not the end of the world. And I have another, but I love the idea of having something in the sky, whether it's a planet or I don't know. I may put it on the inside because, so on the inside, I left it on the side with the gold just to be a little more interesting. I'm not sure that was the right call, but otherwise I would have had a lot more decorating to do to make it look like a sky, and I just wanted to plop those on. I didn't want to work very hard. Now I do have my secret C. I could add some ink or something, you know, kind of splotchy around to blend it. But I do like, oh look, the blast off fits there. That looks really cute. Let's put that there. Put it there while I'm thinking about it. And then I think I am going to add this little planet to the inside too. Cute, cute. Okay, I'm going to show you some other ideas that I have for stars and things on the inside also. But on the outside, I want this little spaceman. Now, I want to make him a wobbler. Have you guys ever used the action wobblers? You've seen me use them, but basically it's a spring and has a sticker platform on one side and a open platform on the other. And the idea is you put this on the back of your spaceman and then he will go boing, boing, boing. I love that. The problem is he's almost smaller than my wobbler. He's tiny. So I think what I'm going to do, I don't know if this will work, but I'm going to take my action wobbler and I'm going to put it on the back of my space guy like this. You can see I can kind of squish it down and hold it down. It's a sticker. I peeled the sticker back off. And I'm sticking it to him. And then when I cut him out, I can cut him out a little wide, if that makes sense, so that my wobbler won't show. Now, whenever you want a little line like this to show and you're fussy cutting, you need to cut it first, okay? And when I run into my wobbler, I will know. I'll feel it on the back. Like that. I just ran into it. So now I'm going to do the other side of this. There. Now, yeah, that'll work. I'm going to pinch it down while I cut. And I'm going to cut him here, here, here. So he's going to be flat on the bottom. I could have cut him out first and just guessed at how much space that would take, but I like this. All right, cute. And you can see he'll boing, boing, boing onto the night sky. The problem now is this background right here is the wrong color, right? It needs to be like pretty peacock or whatever. I do not have that marker in that color. I don't know that I have anything really close to that color. I think the closest I have is probably a combination between the darkest blue and the darkest blue turquoise. So that's what I'm going to do. Let me grab those. Blue and turquoise. We'll see. We will see how it works. I'm going to get a scratch paper out. Actually, I have that one I was using earlier. I'll use it. That way I can play around just a little. So if I do the darkest blue, oh, that's not terrible. That's actually fairly close. I'll just do that. Let's see how that looks. I'm going to go around him. I know, fussy, right? This is fussy. But it's a little work. It'll be worth it. And he'll look so good boinging around in the sky. This is how I could have just used the paper in the right color, I suppose, and then glued the little man onto the paper. Too much work. Okay, and then I have the darkest turquoise. Where did my scratch paper go? Oh yeah, look at that. All right. I'm mixing color to make it look a little closer. So to make Moose not bark at the whole time that I'm on here, I usually give him his treat. He's busy, pretty busy the whole time. And for some reason today he scarfed it down before I even hit the button, before I even hit the live button. So he's at the front door. I left the front door open because I wanted to watch for storms. We're supposed to get another inch or two of rain tonight. Yippee yippee. We'll see how much ends up in my house versus out of my house. Okay. Unfortunately, between 2 and 4 is usually when, like, the mailman comes and the UPS guy comes and the... All right. There is a sticker on the back of these. Do you see these? There is a sticker that you peel off on these, and sometimes my nails will do it, and sometimes I have to get my pokey tool or something out. There we go. Whew. I was like, gosh, it doesn't want to come loose. It's very, very sticky, okay? It's super sticky. And I want this little man to be stuck down pretty well. Look. Boing, boing, boing. Look at him. Isn't he cute? I have gobs and gobs of these. I buy them from Amazon. You can also buy them. You can buy them from a number of stamp companies, okay? This needs another planet or something, or stars, but I'm gonna real quick just put another rocket. Because I feel like it just needs that color on outside. Okay, so let's see what else I could do with this set. My ideas are going crazy. So I love the idea of the action wobbler. I love the little, that's what that is. I love the pop-up style cards. I love the shaker idea. I like all of the interactive anythings because this set is fun, right? All right. Cool, cool, cool. And if you have a white gel pen, see how well that works on there? Aww. And then, of course, you have to add shimmer to your moon because, well, you need to. It needs to be all the shimmery. And I have, like, my shimmer pen. I have to redo it every time because I refilled it once. And now it's, like, the juiciness of it changes when I use it each time. Let's see. There's that. I love the shimmer. You could add shimmer to the stars. The other options for stars. Okay. So I showed you these gold stars, which are super easy to use because, you know, you just glue them on. But they're very gold. And so that these are, I believe they're retired. These are the loose silver sequins, but they are just shimmery enough that when you put them against this paper, they're clear and yet they have glisten to them. Do you see that? It's so cool looking. And I don't want to use glue on them yet because glue makes them look weird until it dries. But you can see, like, you could add that all over and it would look so fun. So that's one option. Okay, and that's probably what I'll end up doing. So I'm gonna just scoot that to the side for a minute. And then these, of course, the rhinestones, you could just add a few rhinestones here or there to the sky. These are on Last Chance and they're relatively inexpensive, but look at the fun colors. You could add some really neat stars, more stars that are dimensional. And I should use these on everything to use. I like to use them up. I don't want to keep them forever. But on the other hand, they're so fun to have. I love having them. So then I'm hoarding them. Eeny, meeny, miny, moe, right? But then on the inside, I think adding a few extra little bits and bobs would really help. So adding some rhinestones to the back of the sky, adding some of these, you know, scattered elements all over. And this has a lot more gold. I could use those gold stars on the inside of the card. And then if you're worried about writing on here, you can just use your gel pen around the black, or you could just add a little panel. Let's see, what do I have on my desk? I have this scrap of gray granite. You could add just a little scrap down here at the bottom and write your message on it, and it doesn't take away from the fun of the card. So that's a really neat card, right? Okay. I have one more to show you. I know you're like, woo, Connie, you're going to be on here all day? All right. But I just wanted to show you. This card is just your standard Z fold, and basically 4 1/4 by 11, fold it in half, right? And then fold it back. And then you have, I just cut a 1-inch strip that's 11 inches long, and I did the same thing. Fold it in half, fold it in half. And this will go on like this. So it's a double Z. It's a Z, Z, right? And so before you do anything to put it together, you got to decide if this is fine with you. That's fine. You stop there, or maybe you want to use one of your cool panels that you made. I'm going to use this though, because why not? And I really want to add a little ink to it so that it's not all the same color. I really love these sequins. Oh, it started raining. It's pouring. Seriously, last night, wow. Were you guys like, we were like, it rained a lot. A lot. I think we are gonna be doing pretty good with our drought. We were in the severe drought range, and I think we're better. think we're going to be better. You know, that one moon that I cut might work good on this one. One thing I've noticed is it's a little harder to ink blend onto pattern paper because it already has like an ink on it. And so it just takes a little more oomph to blend that. But I do really like how that looks. And then I'll clean that totally off in a minute. Here's the moon that we just made. Oh, that looks creepy. I like it. Okay, I like that a lot. What we're gonna do here, we're gonna put this one on the inside of the card, okay? And we'll put this here, and there goes the thunder, y'all. Okay. And I went ahead and cut a couple of pieces to put on here also. Wouldn't have had to, could leave that black, but I kind of liked the idea of, I probably should have inked all three, but that's okay. It'll be fine. Let's see. All right. Moose is not afraid of thunder, but boy, when that lightning cracked last night a few times, I almost had him in my lap. It was wild. That was very loud. Okay. Are you still there? Are you still with me? Oh, you know what? I think I'm gonna put that on first. You have to decide if you want your pattern paper on first or your little Z piece, you know? So when you do your Z piece, you want to fold it and glue it down like this. But before you do, you need to decide if you're going to emboss on it. And I like the idea of embossing stars all over it, which is it's a lot, okay? I know, it's a lot. So what I thought about doing, if I don't want to emboss stars, I could take one of my panels and cut strips to cover it. Maybe I'll just do that. And that way you guys won't have to sit here and watch me emboss. Do you like to watch embossing? But basically, I'm just going to go ahead and do that for now. And I'm going to fold my card and I'm going to lay this on it just like this. And then the only place it attaches is to the back of my card. Do you see that back there? And the front of my card right there. And then this part pops out. So when it opens, whatever you put over here, of course, is going to show even when the card is closed. So I'm going to put my giant moon up here. And I'm not going to have it hanging over the edge. I'm going to have it right here. And I will cut my panel down into like 3/4 inch strips or something. I just need a few little strips to put on here and see how cool that looks. Wah. I could have embossed. That would have looked fine. But I'm just wanting to decorate it, and I don't want to be here like all day. Now, I might leave that one black and just do this one. because it'd be nice to be able to write with my gel pen on there. I like that idea. Then I have my little spaceman, which, yep, I'm going to cut him out again. You guys are going to be like, what? I don't have to color him the same way, though, because I'm not going to leave as much showing. And he's so dark, I really do want him to stand out. And I colored him dark. You guys hear the thunder? I got Moose attached to my foot now. He's like laying on me. Okay, there's that. Got my little space guy. And I could make him pop up like this. I could have him just on the edge of here where he'll pop out and you'd see the sky, or I can put him in the sky. I like the idea of doing another action wobbler right here. Oh, I'm gonna do that. Because why not? Let's hope the action wobbler doesn't show, but whatever. I'll make it work. I'm not so picky on my cards. Everything's got to be perfect, but yeah, we're in a storm zone. Are you guys getting rain, Heather, up there? It's amazing what difference it's amazing to me what a difference of just 2-hour drive will make, like in the weather. It's just crazy. You go 2 hours north and not the same at all. But gosh, yeah, we've been getting it. And now, of course, my daughter left a giant bowl on the floor where the roof is leaking next door at our house. And I can't remember if it's still there. Like, she went to bed, you know. Oh my gosh, I think this is so cute. Oh my God, look. Doing. Oh, he's so adorable. And what should I use? You're Out of This World. Love You to the Moon and Back. They're great. They're both great. How about Love You to the Moon and Back? I like that the message is white on the moon. I could just stamp it direct. Let me just show you what that looks like, just so you know. If you're gonna buy this set, you can decide. I hope I haven't made too many lumps under there. Sometimes I do. Sometimes I'm like, there's about 5 layers underneath. I don't know if it'll stamp smooth or not. The worst case scenario, of course, is that if it doesn't stamp clean, which I don't know, it might not. But if it doesn't stamp clean, I can always put this like on top of it, right? Oh, there's more boomers. It's not going to be very fun to walk back home. All right, ready? Love You to the Moon and Back. All right, I'm going to push extra hard because I have 1, 2, 3 layers or something that I don't want any gaps. Ah, looks great. Okay. Sometimes when you push extra hard, you smudge your letters because your letters are fine and pushing too hard makes them blotch. But I like how that looks. And then I think I need a few little things, like a planet. Let's do that in white. Let's see how that'll look. Let's do some distant galaxy things. Right? That looks really cute. And I just feel like I need, you know, I need some things in the background. So I'm going to add this rocket ship. That's real cute. And what else? This little moon. This little crescent moon is really cute. Harder to stamp when I have a wobbler in the way. Okay, and then I do have a few little hearts that I want to, I think I'm going to scatter some hearts all over. I don't know why I'm using such an enormous block, but look at me. It's crazy. Get ink everywhere. I think that is adorable. And then if I put the cool sparkles all over it, I think the card is done. Don't you think? It's really sweet. I could put the purple stars. I could put the rhinestone sparkles. I could do a combination of both. I'm really all about the bling, so I like the bling a lot. Is the purple too much? Would white be better? The purple's kind of fun. Oh my goodness. Tell me how much you love this card. Would you like to get this card? Look, 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 look. Okay, I'm done, and I've been on forever, so let me show you my final cards. Here is this one. This one is Screaming for Bling, and I think I might put some gold stars on it. I don't think you need to watch me glue gold stars all over this thing, but I think it will look really neat, right? And then here is my penny spinner, and let me know if you want me to make this for you and show you how to do it. It wouldn't have to be this particular one, although I have the background for it. I could show it Friday. Here is those stars inside as shaker, along with the little man who seems to like being upside down for some reason, but there you go. I thought about putting the rocket in there too, but I wanted it on the outside. I liked it showing. That's really sweet. And then of course this one. And this is just done with pattern paper. And then we did our fun backgrounds. So I can do more. So let me know what you think. Which one is your favorite? I think they're all great. So, all right. Thank you so much for watching. And I'm sorry I went so long. I mean, seriously, it's been a long afternoon. Bye-bye, everybody.